I mean, the obligatory question: How do you feel? I always have a. To me, I feel like every 5 years, I like shake up the room. Like I do some wild shit. Like I always have the urge to just be like this. For my 30th, I was like, man, fuck this job. I'm gonna quit. So that's what I did. So but 5 years before that, I was like, man, I was living with my parents at the time, and I was like, man, fuck this house. I'm finna move. So like every 5 years, I just up and do some shit. Um, but I was wondering, did you have similar feelings about the age of 30? Was there anything that you were like anxious about or like jittery about turning 30 at all?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because, and this is not even on the rundown, guys, but so I personally like to just like be in the moment. Like that's the biggest thing. Like everybody does their like New Year's resolution. Mine for this year, and I don't really like them, but it was something I wanted to be was more present. So I spent probably the last month or so thinking about 30 and not like my fear of 30, but like I started thinking about like what is like 30 is looked at as like this mature age and people think everything is downhill and like based on like life expectancy, this is kind of middle aged to be fair, even though it doesn't feel like it's middle aged. And so I was thinking of like the theme of the last month or so has been like what is appropriate and what is like maturity. And so I was watching Dormtainment and
Hmm.
they're older than us. They're like 34, 35. And they were like having like they were like making like titty jokes, like jokes about titties, jokes about dicks. And I was like, man, somebody would look at this and be like, this is not appropriate, right? Or not, this is not like you shouldn't be acting like this. Like you need to grow up, right? Also at the same time I saw a video of Jay-Z watching his wife perform and he just went straight, he went full ghetto. Like he's holding a bottle of champagne, he's jumping up and down, he's holding it. You could clearly see. And I'm like, well, somebody would probably look at him and be like, okay, you're too old. Diddy has this video act bad. He's in his room.
Right. I was just
He's
thinking about that. I was just
he's
thinking about
butt
that.
naked and he's going crazy, getting he's drunk and everything. And I'm like, man, this guy's in the mid 50s. Like he's too old to be doing shit like that. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, all right, there's a lot of things that we deem as like what's mature, but like, there's no way you could tell like these two billionaire guys like they're not mature. Like, obviously, there's like time and place, but like, it just made me start to think like all this shit was made up, and we could probably go reach back to white supremacy somehow, just like respectability politics. And my dad used to tell me like you need to pull your pants up and put a belt on and shit like that,
My boy.
and like I do it, like I was obviously I do it, but then I'm like, man, that never got me any further than wherever I was just because I had my belt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've got criticized or maybe, you know, looked at weird in department stores because I go in dressed how I'm dressed. But like, I know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm trying to go get size for a suit and I want to get tailored. It just appears different. You know what I'm saying? And I was in always really high level classes, but then I lived in certain areas of Tampa. So like I could kind of navigate these different rooms. And it just made me think, man, all this shit is bullshit. None of it means anything. And maturity, like you can't tell me I'm not mature. I paid for a car loan, I have a mortgage, and you know what? I might make a crude joke. I saw Drea on her Instagram. She was wearing a bikini.
What was the stat line?
It wasn't anything. Oh, what she? Oh,
What-
Joker numbers. Joker numbers. MVP, a cornerstone. We are building the franchise around her. Absolutely, 1,000%. Like, don't get it twisted. But she was with her. She was with her kid, and so like her bikini, they say, is like not appropriate to be around kids.
Get out of here.
It was a conversation that was going on Twitter, and you might have saw it, but it was like a
That's
dude like
hilarious.
smacked his lady's butt, and then the baby did it, and they were like, and he was like, "Don't do that," and the people in the comments were like, "Well, if you don't want the baby to smack the butt, you don't smack the lady's butt." But then they always say like, you gotta show like these positive interactions between the two parents to let them know what that looks like. And there's a movie called Elemental coming out, and then it was like a scene where the dad pulls the mom down and kisses her all over, and the kids at the table is like and it's like you kind of want to show them that, and like at what point is it too far? Like you want them to know what
Yeah.
this positive interaction between like two parents, especially like two black parents specifically, because of how they stigmatized the black families and there's no nuclear families, all this bullshit. It's like this is not true at all. Like I grew up with two parents. My wife grew up with two parents. You know what I'm saying? You've got your two parents that have been together for a long time. It's like, man, this is important, but then some people will tell you that's too far. It's like, then what is too far? And then I'm like, once again, all this shit was made up. All this shit means nothing. And I'm starting to think like, oh well, streetwear. Does streetwear die at 30? Like, do I just wear pants that are trousers now? I've been wearing a lot of issy lately. Like, is that where my life goes? And I'm like, but I still like ripped up jeans, and I just bought a couple varsity jackets. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, we're still doing streetwear.
He and Bars is my guy. That's and you know I don't I it's strange to me because I usually just look at cool people, and I really don't think he's as cool as somebody that should be like a fashion person to look after. But he's a really well dressed man.
He be putting that shit on.
He's a really well dressed guy. So
Yeah.
I mean,
He's not afraid either. I've seen him wear
he's
some
not.
prints,
He's
but
not
I
at
was like,
all.
I don't know, but you did it, so good for you.
Hey, you know, everything else aside, the man can dress.
Yeah,
The man, and he's I think he's 50 something,
yeah,
and that's exactly what I like. I'm trying my best to not enter that phase now, and just stay here with my white tees and my ripped jeans and
gradually get there.
enjoy. And yeah, because it's like, okay, cool. You know what? I could buy a jump. I had my own a few jumpsuits, and I would wear them. Let me not do it too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? One or two, but let me not just like the ALD shit. It's literally, it's like I gotta chill out. I gotta
Yeah,
chill out because it's elevated polo, but it just makes you look like a middle aged white guy. But when they be in ALD, they be fly. So it's like
yeah.
I don't know,
Shoot,
man.
that whole area of Little Italy, like Soho area,
Yeah,
that whole strip, Mulberry Street, it's literally like a walking ALD lookbook. I swear, I walked and I saw the people, and I'm like, you know what? Amy's close. Ironically enough, I my friend who lives there, he didn't know about Amy, and I saw a guy literally wearing like this hat. Ironically
amazing.
enough, I had him sitting right there, but he was wearing this hat, and he's like, "Man, I never gave a fuck about this brand, but now that you mention it to me, I literally see it everywhere." And I'm
Everywhere.
like, either that or Kith. And so you're moving in that direction, like that's where they're trying to move us. But then again, you look at Teddy and you look at Ronnie, and they still dress how they do it from time to time, but they still dress how they dress. And so
Yeah.
then all these things have been going literally in my brain for the last 8 weeks.
That's
And I'm like,
hilarious.
you know what? Once again, none of this shit means anything. I guess I'm still good. And I wasn't like worried. This was more tongue in cheek because
Right.
I still march to the beat of my own drum anyways. But like, so there are some people that go through these real tough times where like, man, I guess I gotta put childish shit to the side. And then I'm like, so what is childish? I got a mortgage. You can't tell me that I'm childish. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
like I pay for all this shit. So if I want to run around naked in this bitch and jump on the tables and pop champagne, that's what I'm gonna do. Like it's just that simple. If I don't, then I won't. But all those things that are like, you know, people put on labels and call stuff immature. It would be immature if you were late on your payments and you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
In your car repossessed.
Yeah, you're not taking care of your responsibilities as immature. But if everything's taken care of, I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, 30 is actually, if you think about it, 30 is closer to midlife. Like that
Yeah.
is so at this point, if it's so downhill, I'm about to run it up. I'm about to have some fun because
Yeah.
if I only got half my time left, I best make the most of this half. The first half was cool, but it was foundational. Now this back half, we're gonna have some fun.
I forgot who said it, but somebody put it into the context of your years left of how many summers you have.
That
And
shit,
that was
I don't like thinking about
yeah, that fucked me up.
that.
That fucked me up.
That I don't like thinking
That
about.
I was like, because my dad will he'll be like, he said the same shit. My dad's like over his 50s, and he was like, you know, I wish that I would have stopped thinking about certain things when I was younger, and I would have did more. And so now like, he's trying to like backload it, and he did a little bit, but he's backloading. And then I'm thinking, oh, he got like 25 summers left.
Yeah. No, that's where it goes. It's exactly where it goes. Exactly where it goes. I
Like,
like
oh,
immediately stop thinking about me and just think about my parents. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm just like,
so,
nope, we're not doing it.
so then I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, we could do this cruise. You want to get on the Emirates flight? Let's go on this Emirates flight. About to go into debt, doing all this dumb shit, because you think of it like that. And so, like, man, if you spend one summer complaining about all the shit that you shouldn't be doing as an adult,
Real
bro,
shit.
you ain't got that many summers left out this bitch,
Real shit, bro.
and you gonna complain about how hot it is? Go switch the weather, man. Chicago is beautiful right now. It's
And
it's
go
beautiful.
go
It's
change the
no.
weather.